Hi you guys. So it's that time of the year again. We're going to get ready and plant some garlic. It is October 22nd today. I know you're seeing this video later. I tape my videos kind of far in advance. So hopefully by now you have your garlic in the ground. I'm going to actually post this sooner. I'm going to do that because it's time for you guys to plant garlic in the fall, harvest in the summer. That's the way it goes. So before I quickly review all this stuff, I'm going to tell you that I have a much more detailed video explaining what each of these parts are, and I'll link it somewhere. You know how that works. But I do want to show you something in the big garden. So why don't we go over there? Alright, so here's the cleaned up big garden. For you guys that have been with me for a while, you'll remember when I got home from Mexico last year, I did a really quick planting of garlic and some onions that I had in the house to see if I could get a spring or summer crop out of a spring planting. And most of the garlic just didn't come up. So I thought it was wasted. But lo and behold, it just needed to cool down for the garlic to come up. So everything you see here is a garlic. So I don't think I need to plant way too many this year. I usually plant a couple hundred. Sarah's eating a corn. I didn't plant that corn. I didn't plant that one. It's from the grace of the birds, I guess. Weirdo. Anyway, I think I'm going to get a great harvest next year because these have been in the ground for quite a while now. A lot of these were bulbils, and I think that was the extent. I don't think I have any elephant garlic in this section, so no corms were in here. And I'll go show you what I mean by that. But anyway, usually I plant several hundred cloves, but I think maybe I only need to do 100 or so because I probably have 100 and something here already. And it's okay that the tops are gonna die, it's gonna get cold again, but this will come back next year, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's go back to the table. So pretty quickly here, I want to talk about elephant garlic. And if you've seen elephant garlic before, it's lovely. It gets big, huge cloves, and it's great roasted. It has kind of a mild flavor compared to some of these Italian garlics that are smaller. I mean, this is, what, 3 cloves, and that's a whole head, and this is a good size head. So when we plant elephant garlic, we plant a clove, we will get a head of garlic next year. But if we plant a corm, C-O-R-M-S, these are often attached to the roots of the garlic, so when we pull an elephant garlic out, these will be kind of hanging and attached from the roots. Again, see my other video if you want to see that in real life. And if we plant these, the next year we'll get a single clove, and they come in various sizes, but they're usually big. We have something similar that happens with regular garlic, but we'll get into that in a minute. So if we save all these, and then we plant this fall, next year when we harvest in the summer, we'll get a whole head with the section cloves. Kind of crazy, huh? So if you plant a clove, you get a whole head. If you plant a corm, C-O-R-M-S, you will get a round. These are perfectly edible, by the way. It's just like a round shaped clove, but you can eat them. This is what it looks like peeled and old. This is older. And then if we do that, then we will get a head the following year. So that's like the 2-year plan. But you know, the corms are here anyway, and I got the space, so why not, right? All right, so let's talk about regular garlic. Had to do some rearranging because of the sun. So, like with the elephant garlic, we get these funny little cloves. And these are called a bulbil. Actually, that's a corm. bulbils, and they can appear mid-stalk, or sometimes they'll appear at the top of a head of garlic, like right in there, maybe some, or they'll appear where the flowers are. So here's a head of garlic that I pulled, but if we follow it down the stalk, you'll see a bunch of little cloves right here. So these are all bulbils, and we can plant them, and then they also will turn into a round. So this is a 2-year process for these, and if we plant these, then we will get a head. Or I can just plant the clove from a head of garlic that I like, and we'll get a whole head next year. And that's my preferred method. But since I have these, I'll probably plant them somewhere, much like I did in the big garden. So something to know about garlic is when you plant the clove or a bulbil or a corm, what you're going to get is a genetic match, a clone to the parent. So choose the best heads in the cloves that you have, because if you choose some that aren't so great, like didn't mature, this one actually I pulled it early, but it's a small head. Let's see, here's another one. All you're doing is encouraging small head or poor growth. So you want to plant the biggest and the best that you have. If you like big garlic, you may prefer lots of smaller, medium-sized cloves because you make a lot of stock and you just want to cut it in half quickly and throw it in. You don't want to worry about the size. And that's fine, right? Whatever works for you. Okay, so let's stop yapping and let's get planting. Alright, so I'm going to plant the garlic in the middle bed this year. I do have a couple beet plants that I'm letting go to seed, but we'll just go ahead and work around that. So I'm going to use this whole bed, and I like to plant garlic in beds because anything that needs to expand in the ground, I like the soil to be nice and really friable. So that's a plus. The other thing is my husband's a little crazy with the propane torch we have to kill weeds, and he doesn't know the difference between a garlic and a weed, so he tends to kill things that come up in the early spring. So I tend not to plant things in areas where he might even think that they're a weed. So as we discussed earlier, I'm going to do about 100 cloves. So all you do is take the heads apart like I am here. Just keep going until you have a nice pile, and then we'll plant the root side down, the pointy side up. And the good rule of thumb is to plant twice as deep as the garlic is tall. So if this is, it's 3/4 of an inch, I'll plant it 1.5 inches deep. Okay? And space-wise, I think the recommendation is like 6 to 8 inches apart. I never follow the recommendation. As long as there's enough room for the head to grow, so what is that? Let's plant them about, 3 to 4 inches apart, and then we'll be good. So I'm going to go ahead and start planting. My hoary bit the dust, so I'm having to plant with this year, but that's okay. And you may notice I topped the beds off with dirt. So I'm going to just dig a little hole every few inches, and pointy side down, root side down, pointy side up, right? And that's how easy it is to plant garlic. Just throw the skins on the top, don't worry about it, and then keep going until you filled up the bed. If you know what kind of garlic you're planting, go ahead and mark it out. I've been planting the same kind of garlic for so many years, I don't even know what kind it is anymore. And it doesn't cross-pollinate because I'm doing the clove method or the bulbil or corm method. So it's a genetic clone. So it's still true to the parent, but I can't remember what it is. Look how big that one is. That's great. So this is how easy it is, you guys. If your garlic starts sprouting in the kitchen, plant it. If it doesn't sprout in the kitchen, plant it anyway. You can use store-bought garlic. It's not a problem. Just make sure it's not sprayed, because if it's sprayed, you know, if it's not organic, then you may not get any growth, because what they put on there is a chemical to keep it from sprouting. So that's not going to benefit you at all. Anyway, I'm going to just finish up this bed, and let me know if you guys have any questions. I plant in October and I harvest near the end of July. So wherever you plant, you need to be able to leave those cloves alone for that long period of time, 8-9 months. So anyway, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Alright, you guys, so I ended up planting this whole bed with regular garlic all the way up to about here, and then it becomes elephant garlic. But I still had all those corms and bulbils left, so I decided to move to this bed, and I planted the bulbils, the rounds, and yeah, more bulbils, and the corms. They're further down here. So because these take 2 years, I think what I'm going to try to do is just let them grow in this bed and leave them, and not harvest them and then replant them. I'm just going to try to see if I can leave them, and I will plant around them. And I'll see how that works. I mean, they're pretty tightly spaced, but I still think I could grow something else in here with them, like peppers or something. So that's my plan as of right now, but you know how plans go. So anyway, we got about 120 cloves planted, about 20 rounds, and then I don't know how many bulbils, because some of them are so small, or corms. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you guys have any questions.